We have all been in social situations where we want to get out of there as fast as we can. But sometimes you have to stay and you have to learn how to make conversation and you have to come out of your shell and you've just got to make it work. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the 3 phases of a conversation that you can move through when you are at an event or a party and you're feeling a little shy or a little socially awkward. So if you're new to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button and the bell and all of the things that go along with that. And then also, if you would like to see more of the behind the scenes of my life and what I do, you can go follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I will see you there. Now, I want to say one thing before I tell you to come out of your shell and all of that. One of the things about shyness is that really there is a strong benefit to being shy. And one of those things that you may not realize is that when you have shy people around you, if you're kind of a high energy person like myself, when you have shy people around you, they tend to really kind of honestly calm you down a little. And I don't mind being high energy, but I love when I'm around other people who are not at that same level. And we have a way of kind of vibing off of each other. So I don't want to start this video from like, shyness is bad or anything like that. Nothing is wrong with being shy. What really you're trying to do when you're shy is just go in and be prepared. Honestly, most times people feel like they're just not prepared enough when they go into these social situations. And so it's very off-putting to them. And then they start to feel a little self-conscious and start to feel like they're gonna say or do the wrong thing. What I'm trying to say is don't stress about whether you're shy or not. That's a very common thing. And I don't want you to change that side of who you are at all. We're just talking about how to move past that. So my first phase is really creating engagement, right? Showing people that you're ready to engage and that you are available to talk, and that they will be accepted and they will not be rejected by you. You have to understand that everybody's worried about being rejected. And if you can find a way, which I'm gonna show you, how to eliminate that, you will be so much better off and conversations will just start to come to you. So first things first, shyness generally stems from a level of self-consciousness or a feeling of awkwardness or that you're going to mess up. So the first thing I need you to do is shift your mindset and really be confident, okay? Now, you might have to fake it till you make it, and that's okay, but you really wanna come off as confident in yourself. So this is going to require a little bit of inner work for yourself. This could be something as simple as looking in front of a mirror before you go to the event or in your rearview mirror when you get to the event and just saying, I am beautiful, I am confident or handsome, I am ready and I am excited to engage, and I'm ready and excited to meet some new people. That may be a total farce, but it works, right? We are telling our minds what we are going in there to do, and that's what we're gonna lead with, right? And you will start to believe it. Like, you say it as many times as you need to before you go in and do it. And it may sound silly, but it does work. So find a mirror, say that to yourself, and then let's get after it. You gotta go in there confident, you gotta go in there strong, like, hey, I know I'm here to do this. Everyone else also feels the same way. And now you have a little bit of a leg up because you have actually told yourself and shifted your mindset. Now, eye contact is huge. If you can get this down to have strong eye contact, trust me when I say you will start attracting people to you, and even when you're not trying to. It's just that in our society, we've kind of lost the art of eye contact. People actually feel like it's a little strange to do that. And I'm not saying that you have to be staring at someone forever, but you do need to have eye contact with them, and then you can shift away and come right back. You always want to come right back to eye contact. Now, add a smile and a hi to everyone that you see. I know this sounds crazy, but I'm telling you it works. And some of these things I want you guys just to practice at the grocery store, practice when you're dropping off your dog for grooming, just practice it. Practice, practice, practice. And then when you get into a social situation and you need to do it, you will have done it so many times and you will see the impact and the reward that you get back just from doing it at these random places, just from practice. So confidence, eye contact, and then a smile and a hi. And when I say that, what that looks like is this. Hi, how are you? You can say hi, how are you? Or just hi as you're moving. If you're moving to a direction, or say you're going to get a drink or something, you can say hi. And it's just a smile and a hi. Eye contact, smile and a hi. If you can get these 3 things down for any social situation, you will honestly be able to connect with anyone with just that as your baseline. I promise you. I know I sound crazy and it sounds too easy, but that's honestly, it creates like a magnetism, and it shows that you have a little bit of charisma in there, even without trying and you're not saying anything. But it looks accepting. It looks like you're accepting of that person, and it looks as though you are ready for a conversation and ready to engage. So that moves us into phase number 2. So phase number 2 is all about being ready to engage and being ready to go to work, because this is where the real work starts when you're in a conversation. So using the hi and the eye contact and smile is great. That's a way to show that you're engaged. Now, the being engaged part really requires a shift in your mindset, because most people feel like, I have to be the life of the party. I need to have something really witty to say. I need to be super engaging, and like I need to have all of these really interesting things to talk about. And the bottom line is, no, you don't. The most important thing you need to have are these 2 things, your ears. And the reason I say that is because when you shift your mindset from, I have to entertain this person, to, no, I need to actively listen to this person. Now what you're doing when you actively listen is you are watching all of their cues. So you're taking in the nonverbal, you're taking in the verbal, you're taking in their facial expressions, you're taking in a lot of things, and you're listening to what they have to say. And then you are responding with another way of engagement. So you might say, oh, wow, that sounds amazing. Or, oh, that's interesting that you feel that way. I have always thought this. You should be able to volley off of whatever it is that they say. And that's from being able to actively listen. Okay, so now that we know that you don't have to entertain anyone when you're talking, you just need to be able to engage with them. So your job is to make someone feel important. So remember that, okay? Your job is to make them feel accepted. Remember I said that in the first piece. A lot of people feel like their job is to entertain. Your job is not to entertain. Your job is to listen. Your job is to find commonality. Your job is to find things that are mutually beneficial to talk about for both of you. Because the way that you become memorable is by making someone feel important, making them feel accepted, making them feel like you were completely engaged in them, making them feel like what they were talking about was interesting. All of those things make someone want to come back and talk to you again. Right. My next tip is for you to come in locked and loaded. Now, when I say this, that means locked and loaded with something for you to talk about. Because sometimes the conversation will begin with you. So when someone says, hi, how are you? Don't just say fine. Say, oh, I'm doing great. You know, I just came in from blah, blah, blah. Or it's raining outside, so I wasn't expecting that today, and I wore these shoes. Start to talk about anything to help that person not be left with the word fine. I really don't like when people do that. But anyway, but if that happens, that's okay. Say that you say fine, and then that person doesn't know what to say. Now you need to then build the conversation up again and say, oh, I have been doing X. Have you ever tried that before? I took my first cooking class 5 days ago. I've never done that before, and I was a complete disaster. So you can find something that was self-effacing for you, or you can find something that is like a really funny story that you just did. Or if you don't know what to say, you really don't know what to say, you can talk about what the next holiday is that's coming up. So you can say, oh, so what are you doing for Christmas? Or what are you doing for Valentine's Day? Or whatever the next holiday is. And it's good to know these things before you actually walk into the the event, so that you have these things already locked and loaded, ready to rock. You may never have to use them the whole night. You may never have to use them, but it's good to just have in your arsenal, like to know, like, okay, this person's not really talking, so I'm gonna pull this out and I'm gonna keep the conversation going. And you get them to talk about something that they wanna talk about. You can then identify with something that they have brought up to you, and that's how you're able to engage. And that's why I say you really wanna shift your mindset from talking about yourself to trying to make someone else feel important and feel accepted. And if you can shift your mindset to do that, you become very memorable to a lot of people because you make them feel good when you are talking to them. You make them feel good when you are engaging with them. And that's the best thing you could possibly do. So in the engagement phase, remember that your purpose is really not to entertain, but to engage and make people feel important and accepted. You can do this by first you need to shift your mindset from talking to listening. And I want to just give this up to shy people because shy people are very, very good at this. And if you are an extrovert and you're someone who is not shy at all, you really need to watch yourself and make sure that you're not talking about yourself the entire time. But for those of us who are shy, or they want to, make people feel important or accepted, then you'll love meeting a person who's just going to go on and on and on about themselves. And hopefully the conversation will come back to you. But if not, that's what makes this avenue of engaging with the active listening and sounding engaged, like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Oh, wow. Oh, I never knew that. Ooh, you're still engaging with them, but you're not necessarily the center of attention, having to keep the conversation going. So that's a big tip that has always, always helped. If you just remind yourself, I'm supposed to be an active listener, I'm supposed to make people feel important and accepted, it will help you tremendously. The last thing is you want to deepen the small talk, okay? So the last phase of a conversation is really deepening that small talk. Now by this time you should feel pretty comfortable with the person you've been talking to. They've taken the pressure off because generally they're the ones talking, and all you've had to do is really kind of nod your head and be interested and show interest, and do some reciprocating when you're asking a question about whatever they're talking about, finding common interests, things like that. When we talk about deepening the small talk, one of the things I think a lot of people have a hard time doing is really showing how they really feel. So sometimes you're going to be talking to someone and you'll say, oh my gosh, you are hilarious. Have you always been this funny? Or I bet you're an Aquarius. I say this all the time. When I meet someone that I really have so much fun talking to and vibing with, I always say, I bet you're an Aquarius, huh? Because I'm an Aquarius and I feel like, hey, I can read that into other people. Now I will tell you that probably like 80% of the time I'm probably wrong on whether they're an Aquarius or not. The point is not whether you're right or not. The point is to basically let them know that you're really enjoying this conversation. So you can say, oh my gosh, I really like you. You are hilarious. You can say that. You can say, I bet we have the same sense of humor, so I bet you loved watching whatever show is funny that you enjoy watching. And they may say, no, I've never seen that before. The conversation, you keep that conversation naturally going as you learn more about them, and you're opening them up at the same time, but deepening that small talk. You guys have moved past the small talk because you've realized that I actually like this person, or they're so genuine, or wow, you're so thoughtful, or you're so practical. Like whatever it is, give them a compliment. So basically what you're doing is you're giving a compliment, but you're learning something a little bit deeper. You're going deeper down the funnel of the conversation. The next thing you can do, if you really can't think of anything else, and if you just want to do this, is to lead with a compliment, okay? And then add a follow-up question. So you can say, oh my gosh, I love your dress. Where do you shop? Like I have to go wherever you got this. Like I've never seen this in town. Where'd you get that from? That is something that is very natural and something anybody can say. Or if they have said something in their conversation and you want to know more about this, it's like lending them the ability to be in authority on something. Again, making them feel important and making them feel accepted by you. And so these are things that make people want to continue talking to you, because you have given them exactly what most people want. They want to feel accepted and they want to feel important. So if you can get yourself through these 3 phases, which are prepare for engagement is number 1, number 2 is engage, and number 3 is deepen the small talk. If you can do those things with these tools that I've given you and these options of things that you can use, I guarantee you that in your next social interaction, you will be stunned by how people respond to you and the type of engagement that you're able to create without feeling awkward or feeling shy or any of those things. And remember, focusing on listening is the most important piece. Now, I would like you guys to actually try this in a grocery store, try this like out in public somewhere, even when you're not in a social situation. I'm telling you, you will see such a difference in the way people respond to you. Now, if you are an entrepreneur and you enjoyed this video, or you're wondering like, well, how do I take it to the next phase? Like, how do I then engage with them and let them know about my business if they never ask? If they don't ask about your business and there's some way to enter the conversation or whatever was going on in your conversation and it gets back to business on something, and you have a way to add yours in, do that. Other than that, I just wouldn't add in your business. I wouldn't talk about it, right? But you may want to connect with that person later or have coffee with them, because once you've deepened that small talk and you've gone past that, you now have the ability to ask like, hey, would you like to go out and get some coffee, or we should get lunch together, or I'd love to get lunch with you sometime and discuss whatever, something you've talked about in the conversation or something that you'd actually like to discuss further. And you just get their number and then move on from there. Don't be afraid to be you. You guys all have something special to share with the world, and you guys are incredible. So get out there, be remarkable, and I will see you next week.